In the first age, when the firmament was still soft beneath the feet of the gods, two realms stood divided. Kereth, the kingdom of the sun, and Vorin, the dominion of shadows. For 1,000 years, their wars turned the skies to blood. Fields could no longer bear fruit, rivers refused to flow, and the cries of mothers outnumbered the songs of the living. Then, on the eve of the 1,000th eclipse, a child was born in the ruins between both lands, beneath a sky of bleeding stars. Her name was Seraphine. The midwives whispered that her cry carried warmth that soothed their wounds, and her tears turned to pearls in their palms. She was no ordinary child. She was born with the mark of Orin, the ancient symbol of balance, a power both divine and forbidden. Unknown to the world, her birth was not chance. The god Arion, keeper of dawn, had pleaded with the fates to create a vessel through which light could touch darkness without burning it, a bridge between the endless war of elements. The fates agreed, but warned that such power could only thrive through love, a love pure enough to merge two worlds. Far across the burning plains of Kereth, in the depths of Vorin's obsidian citadel, was born Prince Meron, heir to the Shadow Throne. His birth was marked by thunder, black storms that swallowed sunlight for 7 days. The people called him the Cursed Sun, for wherever he walked, frost followed. Yet, behind his cold eyes lay a heart longing for warmth he had never known. When Meron came of age, he led his armies across the Ashen Divide, vowing to end Kereth's line forever. His sword, Umbreth, fed on the fear of men, and soon, the world bent beneath his command. But destiny, cruel, intricate, divine, had already written another path. Seraphine had grown in secrecy among monks of the old sun temples, her power hidden, her name whispered in prayers. She could heal the sick with a touch, call rain in barren lands, and even calm raging beasts. But one day, while tending to the wounded near the border, her light drew the attention of Vorin's soldiers. She was captured and brought before Prince Meron, who had come to oversee the spoils of battle. The first moment he saw her, the torches dimmed, not in fear, but in reverence. The warmth that radiated from her presence softened even the cursed steel of his blade. Meron demanded her name. She simply said, "One who mends what others break." That night, for the first time in years, the prince dreamt of dawn. He kept her prisoner, or so he thought, but every visit to her cell brought him closer to something he could neither fight nor define. She spoke to him not as an enemy, but as one who pitied the burden he carried. She told him of the lands he'd burned, of the children who would never see sunlight again. And though he despised weakness, her words pierced through the armor of his pride. Slowly, Meron began to change. He freed prisoners. He ordered the rebuilding of a village. He even halted his armies for an entire moon cycle, all under the pretense of strategic delay. But his generals knew the truth. The Prince of Shadows was falling in love with the Girl of Light. Their secret meetings became legend among the stars, two souls cursed to destroy each other, yet finding peace only in one another's presence. Each night, Seraphine's touch dimmed the shadows clinging to him, and each morning, his gaze made her forget that she was ever meant to be divine. But the gods watched, and gods are jealous of mortal love. Arion, the god who had willed Seraphine's birth, stood before the fates once more. He begged them to let her live freely, to let this love bridge their warring realms as intended. But the fates shook their heads. Love is balance only when it costs what it creates, they said. Her love may heal the kingdoms, but it will also break her heart. The fates then marked the prophecy in flame. When light kisses shadow, the war will cease. But the light shall fade, and the shadow shall be undone. Word of their forbidden love spread faster than armies. The kings of Kereth and Vorin, furious that their heirs had chosen each other over blood, summoned their forces for one final war. The Battle of the Crimson Veil began under a fractured sun. The world trembled as 10,000 soldiers clashed, steel against faith, shadow against flame. Meron fought at the front, his sword drinking despair, while Seraphine rode among the wounded, her touch stitching torn flesh and fractured hope. But as the battle reached its peak, Seraphine saw the skies splitting, divine fire descending like judgment itself. The gods had come to erase them both. In that moment, Seraphine understood the truth. The only way to end the war was to surrender her essence, to bind her divine light into the earth itself, sealing both realms into peace forever. But doing so would consume her soul and erase every trace of her love from existence. She ran to Meron, the battlefield burning around them. He was on his knees, wounded, bloodied, yet unyielding. She touched his face, and for the last time, he felt warmth without pain. Seraphine, don't, he whispered, knowing what her eyes already confessed. If I stay, the world dies, she said. If I go, only we do. He wanted to fight fate itself. But when he looked into her eyes, he saw not the divine, only the woman who had made him human. And so, with a trembling hand, he pressed her palm to his heart and said, "Then let the world live. Let me remember. But fate is crueler than death." Seraphine rose into the storm, her body becoming a vessel of pure radiance. Her cry echoed through the heavens, a sound that shattered every blade, stilled every war cry, and melted the frost of centuries. The earth split open as rivers of light poured forth, washing away the blood of nations. The wounded were healed, the dying breathed again, and the kingdoms of Kerith and Vorin were forever bound in peace. But when the light faded, she was gone. Meron fell to his knees in the silent field where thousands wept and prayed. His heart still beat, but the warmth was gone. He had gained a world and lost his soul. Years passed. The two realms became one, the unified empire of Orenvale, named after the mark she bore. Temples rose where she fell. Statues of light crowned every city. And though her name was forbidden to be spoken, every sunrise was her hymn. As for Meron, he became the first high king of the new world. He ruled with mercy, rebuilt the lands, and led an age of peace that lasted generations. But he never smiled again. In his private chamber, he kept only one thing, a single pearl, said to have fallen from her first tear. It glowed faintly, like the memory of dawn. On the 100th year after her passing, as Meron lay dying beneath the twilight, Arion appeared, not as a god of dawn, but as a messenger of endings. "Your love healed kingdoms," the god said softly, "but broke hearts, as the fates foretold. Do you regret it?" Meron smiled faintly, eyes on the horizon where day met night. "I regret only that I will never see her light again." Arion leaned closer, his voice a whisper of eternity. "Then rest, mortal, for even gods cannot destroy what love has carved into the stars." And as Meron's eyes closed, the dawn that followed was unlike any other. The sky ablaze not with fire, but with color, as if two realms had finally exhaled in peace. Centuries later, bards still sang of the woman who became light and the prince who turned his shadow into peace. Some said that every eclipse was her kiss upon the dark, a reminder that love, no matter how doomed, could still heal the world. And somewhere in the vastness between night and morning, the gods watched silently, for they, too, envied the kind of love that even eternity could not forget. Her love was not written in books nor carved in stone. It was written in dawns, in rivers, in the quiet peace that followed chaos. They called it the love that healed kingdoms, but those who remember know the truth. It was the love that broke hearts, even the hearts of gods.